Okay, hi and welcome to today's demo. We are going to walk through the following 5 questions and see how we can import data into rows and superimpose it against other markets, how we can compare pricing across different exchanges, how we can use rows visualizations to look at technical analysis or transformations or analytics on charts, how we can create a notebook which will save those charts in a persistent way that you can reload every day and will be updated, and then lastly how to upload data directly from internal sources. So let's just start quickly and look at how to get data into rows. So we're going to go over here to Dune, for example. We're going to look at something, kind of interesting. Let's look at total number of OpenSea traders over time. Okay, so here's an analytics from Dune. We're going to take this number 581807. We're going to go here, Dune, push, call this crypto, Solana, OpenSea traders over time, cumulative. And when we do this, just check to make sure that we know what it's called. It's going to be called users, and we're going to call that users. Call this estimate, call that Dune, hit enter. So Dune, push, give it a name. I gave it a big name with a bunch of dots in it. I'll show you why in a minute. What the table ID is, that's this thing. And then how many users, right? So now if we go here and do add code, we can add another cell block, is what we call it, control, paste that number, terrific. Let's look at a change in that number. And we can look at a moving average of that change, 10-day moving average. And we can call that traders growth 10 days. And the reason we're doing this, the reason we're making that little equals, which I'll show you in a second, a little bit easier, is so we can find data. So we go over here to search, and we're going to search for crypto Solana growth. And the object that we just pushed to rows is now available in rows. You can click it, you can search for it, you can even show someone how it's made all the way down to Dune. If you know Fred, for example, Fred works in a kind of similar way, except we've already pre-pushed all of Fred. So let's look for here for consumer price index. This is the sticky price index. This is what they actually call it in Fred, core, stick M1, etc., etc. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to just see, can I push that to rows? And I can. I can even pull it directly. So here I'm going to call this USA inflation sticky demo equals. This is how we call push data to rows using equal sign or in another interface with the API. Again, you can always show tree and understand how it's made, where it came from. So let's compare this data. That wasn't the best data. Let's look at some other data and try to compare it to what they asked for, VIX and that kind of stuff. So let's look for something that, here we go, NFT volume. Great. It's not the best data, looks like it's monthly. Oh well, let's use it anyway. We're going to say Dune, push, crypto, NFT transactions, monthly Dune, equals. That's if you don't put in the column header, it's going to give you the table, not the time series. So here I can make it into a time series with time series date, time series time, excuse me, that's what they call it, and volume. This is the number of volumes, number of NFT transactions. I'll call this Dune. There you go. If you want different kinds of charts and rows, you can always look for rows, chart, doc. We do all kinds of charts and rows. We can do that bar chart now. Not going to do it now, but all kinds of charts and rows. So let's compare that line to the VIX. and put them on different axes. Okay, VIX back to 1980. Let's compare that line to oil. And we can compare it to oil WTI or oil Brent. Commas in between things allow you to chart multiple things on the same page. Let's take these transactions and put them in units. So we have oil back to 1800. Let's compare NFT transactions to USA stocks, the return of stocks in the US and USA bonds. Again, change the units, get them on the same page. We've had stocks for a long time. Bonds we also have for quite a long time. Okay, let's go back up to the top. So we did importing data and superimposing it, how to import from different exchanges. Now this is important and relevant, where you get your data from, especially with crypto. So we've done something to help solve this. If you go to Marketplace and you type in crypto, you can buy this for 0. What it is its price, market cap, and coins for the top number of coins. These tables are kind of like SQL. You can say filter code equals F, and it will filter this map down to what it needs, and we can say get price. It's going to give me the Ethereum price. So, but to get this, I had to actually look through a couple of different sources. In actuality, let me show you guys. Depending on who you ask, you get very different answers for what is the price, what is the market cap, and what are the number of coins for this crypto. Look at F, even F, there's a bunch of ambiguity across exchanges. And some of these become material, some of these become data that you have to clean. We're giving this data away for free from these different sources, cleaned up to the best of our ability. That's available in this package that you can just hit buy on and get today. If you want to look at one of these, let's look at ADA. What you'll see, escape, close, workspace, is that to get market cap, sometimes you have to go from different sources. Oops. Let's look for F. To get coins, in a lot of cases, you have to back out from market cap. So if you have multiple sources, it gets a little more complicated. Why am I showing you all this? Because you can look for, let's look for Binance, from different sources already pre-populated in rows. This is coin, Binance, coin, Gecko, Binance, coin, Codex, Binance. Let's go to coin market cap. Compare and contrast from different sources. Most of the time they're going to be the same, but not always. Change this to market cap. Get very different answers depending on how far back you go. So this is set up to basically help you identify different sets of data, which is the true one, to find that for your organization. Let's go back to the demo. How to add technical analysis. So let's take some of those coins that we had before. Let's add a new cell here, add a couple, right? And let's look at the correlation between ETH and Solana. So we're going to go ETH, B for business days, because sometimes we have data on the weekends, roll correlation, Sol, B, don't forget returns, and let's do a 90-day correlation. And I forgot to do returns here. This is saying take the correlation not of the level of these assets, but of their returns, which is the correct way to do it. Okay, and let's compare that to BTC. Let's compare it to Filecoin, There we go. And we can even name these. F versus BTC correlation 90 days. But get the right names in here. So F versus file, F versus Solana, S versus BTC. There we go. Now maybe we make this into a dashboard. Right, compare that to, let's go USA stocks, returns, roll core, USA bonds, returns, 90 day. Or we could look at gold returns, roll core, rolling correlation, Bitcoin, the returns, 90 days. Not as much history. Comma, not period. Sometimes a little hard to see. Great. Save the notebook. Now this notebook itself is itself an object that can be shared, can be permissioned, can be loaded on an ongoing basis every day. But let me take an example. So this F versus Solana correlation, here's the tree. You can see it's not that complicated. It's got a couple of different branches in it. We're going to take this tree and share it with someone in my team. Go over here to sharing. This is a friend. This data is all public, so I can share with him. And not only can I share the data, but I can share that tree. I can share all the information of how it was built. There you go. And that actually also extends to entire dashboards. So I could go here, and I could say share this dashboard, share all of the data in the dashboard. It won't show their whole tree. That's a security feature. So that's how to share data in a persistent way, so it will load every day. For data that has a first-class API, you can just run update as a function directly on the data. What is a function? I haven't really explained that. All functions and rows are available by typing functions. You can see what's going on here. You can even search for, say, filter, moving, search. It's going to find every function which has to do with moving, in this case a moving average. You could look at anything that has an average in it, anything that has a time series in it. And so colon means function, dots mean nothing, they're just spaces. But if I go here and I do colon mean, it's going to give me the number. That is the mean. If I do MA10, it's going to give me the 10-day moving average. If I do returns, it's going to give me the change in that line. And if I do return, it'll give me the cumulative of that line, which is kind of cheeky. But okay, so how do we get data in? How do we play with it? Let me show you a couple other ways to get data in rows really quickly. One would be from Bloomberg. So here we're going to look at Ethereum, in particular the ETF, the Ethereum Trust. Here's how you get data in rows. Here you could say Grayscale, F Trust, ETF, demo price, Bloomberg. Again, dots are just spaces for computers that then you can search over. So that was pushed. We ran the function equals push. Now we're gonna equals pull. There you go. We just got all that data. You can tell if I was going to use the actual API for Bloomberg, I'd have to go through this shenanigans. And after all that, they're only going to give me a couple days of data. I can even get, let's say, the premium to NAV. Let's find out what they call that here. Go to fields, FLDS. Let's look for NAV. Net asset value currency, net asset value level. Let's go here, net asset value. Or, yeah. Put this here. And instead of price, I'm going to call this nav. Equals push this object with this name, with this variable. Now I'm looking up in Bloomberg, not just the price, but what actually the nav is. Go back over here, we're going to search for this stuff. Let's look for ETH demo. See, I've already done this, but Grayscale. Here we go. And then the other one was called the nav. Right, we'll take a relationship between these two things. Right, sub 1. And call this Grayscale S premium / discount to nav demo. Again, I'm just doing some logic here. You can see it used to have a big premium, now it's at a discount, 24% discount. And that we just built on the fly. So other ways to get data in, you can actually, if you need to, push data directly in as tables. This is where you start to get to bigger data. You can say date, price, call this F demo table deprecated. Let's push and pull, that's it. You can do this in R, you can do it in pandas. Go back to rows, search for F demo, what was it called? Table deprecated, there it is. Could even, if I needed to, again, turn this into a time series by saying date and price. Right, call this MO F demo deprecated equals. It's always good to rename something and then push it. And again, it's just saying I got it from this object. This object actually comes from this part of my file structure or whatever you want to call it. Save this notebook, share it with somebody else, get it out of there. Other ways you can get data in, there's a bunch of different vendors we have. We have, you know, not only Bloomberg, Haver, Macrobond, Global Financial Data, Reuters, Refinitiv, you know, basically anywhere that you guys have that's a great data vendor, we will connect to and try to get it into our software. So thank you for taking the time and have a good day.